Hi guys, Ronda Winstead here with you. Okay, so in my last video that I did for the November Play 2021, which was the fourth video, number 4, so I'm titling this 4A. Why, you say? Well, if you didn't watch 4, then you won't understand. So I would encourage you to go back and watch that. But to keep it a little bit shorter, I finished the journal cover to this point. And so this is where we're starting for this one. So I would go back and take a look at what we did. And this is what I finished out. A little bit of piecing here and trimming. I think it's super cute. And when you fold it, you've got this great little journal cover. So this is way fun. So let's open it up and see what we did in here. This is just a piece of fabric. It's one piece that I cut to fit the size. It was crazy how it was almost a perfect match. I did have to add just a little bit to the bottom here, and did that, and then added some antique lace that I had to create some pockets here. So, and here is the batting, the Warm and Natural, or I don't even think this is actually the Warm and Natural. I think it's just a thin cotton batting. So, we'll finish up this one, but I am adding, as we're going to do that, I'm going to add one more of my prompts, and that is tree. Obviously, as you can see here, let's turn it around, we've got trees. The paper pieced one I started with, these, and this little tree in the back of the red truck. So yeah, so that was kind of fun. So now I've used up 6 prompts so far. I don't think I'm going to be able to get them all done, but I'm going to do my best to try to get a lot of them in by the time November is done. All right, let's put that away. And before we get started on the next step, I just want to say hi. How are you? I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're having just a great day, evening, afternoon. I don't know when you're going to be viewing this video, but I just hope that things are going well for you and that you're enjoying November. And if you're playing along with me, I hope you're enjoying that. And be sure, like if you have an Instagram account, it would be really fun to put it there and do the hashtag November Play 2021. Okay, so I have been thinking, overthinking, I'm sure, because sometimes that's what I do. Overthink it. How to bind it. A journal like this, where it's going to have papers in it, and let's just, where did I put those? I was going to show you. These are basically about 8.5 by 11 size, and then folded in half. See how nice that works up for a journal, for a one signature journal. And it extends far enough that you can put some tags. you can add a little more, or you can really beef this up, maybe even put 2 signatures in here, and it would be fine. So I will give you these measurements in case you decide that you want to do something of this nature. So this ended up to be 13 inches wide and 9 inches high. So that's a really great size for regular, for a regular junk journal. And it's really nice with the padding. The soft, I didn't put any, sometimes I put glassine paper and it gets a crunch, which I love. But this time I didn't, I just kept it plain. So when we sew our binding on, or maybe I don't want to bind it, maybe I'm just going to zigzag, maybe I'll straight stitch, maybe I'll do a blanket stitch, somehow to finish this so that these aren't just loosey-goosey flying in the wind. And this is what I've been trying to figure out for a few minutes. So let me get your opinions on a couple of things. So one of my ideas was I could make a binding, and that's basically, well, if I were doing this to make a binding, I would fold it in half, and then I would stitch in 1/4 of an inch here, and then I would flip this over, turn it over, and then I would stitch here. So that's how we do quilts. But something like this, we don't have to do all that fancy, and it can be a lot of work. We don't have to do that. This can be fun. It's not going to go in a washing machine ever. And it will have papers in here and other things that way. So we don't have to, so I've scrapped that idea. Then one of the things I thought about doing was to put like a trim, to cover that up, and just stitch down like so, and then it would be finished on both sides. And I like that idea, but this is too white. I like the gold matches. I've got quite a bit of gold in here, but the white, this is cream. These are creams. This is a little more the white right here, but it's a very little piece. And I don't have this in another color. So I have rejected that. I'm just showing you some of the things that can be done and give you some ideas. Now, another thing that I could do is I could rip a piece of fabric, like a muslin, like the cream or the gold, or one of these greens or a red, something to match one of these colors. And I could keep it ripped so that you have that fun edge that's raw, and make that to where I could just, stitch down and all the way around. And that's a possibility. I'm thinking about that one. And then, she said, oh, excuse me. Let me grab a drink of water for just a sec. Thank you. I could also do just a blanket stitch down here. But I think or a zigzag. It doesn't have to have anything, in all honesty. It needs to be sewn, but it doesn't have to have an edging, because in junk journaling, isn't that one of the things that we love, is sometimes it looks rustic and kind of unfinished, but it gives it that extra kind of textury goodness. So that's one thing that I've been thinking about. If I do that, I haven't picked the color. But here's another thing that I was just thinking about doing. And I'd like to get your opinion on this. What I can do with something like this, let me bring this in closer, just so you can see the edging. I could do this and let this hang over just a little bit and stitch close to the edge, and then on the inside you would see it like this. And I think that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. What do you think? Yay? Nay? And I like this edging actually with this lace too. And because this is a cream and not that white, it just looks better. And then of course I will have, let's take that back out again. I'll have the variegated brown thread that I've been sewing this with. I'll have that here as well. So that'll give it a little bit of color. That'll even tone this down even more. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing, guys. And have you, I would love to hear if, are you even doing this with me? If you're not, that's okay. I mean, this is not like, oh, you're not. That's terrible. Everybody has a life, right? But if you are, it would be fun to see what you're doing, or at least to hear about it, and what prompts you're using, and or what ideas that you're using. I kind of do like that. If I do this with this, let's just see. Maybe it'll just be too much if we take it around everything. Well, let's fold it like it would be, and put it around to give us the idea. Just kind of eyeball this and see what we think, if we would even like it. And I know ultimately you guys are going to make me make the decision. You won't talk to me. Or maybe you are talking to me. Maybe you're hollering at the camera or at your TV, but I can't hear you. You're going to have to speak louder. Okay. I like that. Do I love it? I'm not 100% sure that I love it. So let me just grab a couple of things. I'm right here, just not right in your face at the moment. Let's see if we were to I have these really beautiful panels. These are really pretty. And I've used some, I just don't know what to do with all of them. Let's move the lace. I could do something like this. Just take a bit of this and go around the edge. I could do something like that and stitch that down. That's kind of cool, isn't it? You know what? I think something like this would actually look better than my beautiful lace trim. I really do. And on doing this, I do it differently. If I'm doing a quilt, it's all going to be one continuous bit of fabric. It would go, you know, all the way around. Only I wouldn't start in the top corner. I'd start down in one of these corners, probably the back one, because that's not going to get seen as much. And what I would do because this is a journal, I will stitch my sides and then I'll stitch my tops so that this comes over. Let's cut this. Let's see, you know, let's give it a try. Maybe we won't like it, but maybe we will. So, let's see. I'm thinking that I just maybe want the black. That maybe I don't want all that extra. Let's just... It's not printed perfectly, but it's not too bad. Okay, and then let's go ahead and grab this other side and do the same thing on the other side. We're trying to just get the black. Just get the black. Kind of straighten it out a little bit so we can. This is causing me trouble. Trouble. Okay. It has been here. It has been raining all day long. All day. Okay. Now let's see. Oh, that's going to be almost perfect. That's one for each side if I do this. So what I would do is go halfway, and I would take this to my iron and iron this in half and then put it here. How does that look on this side? Okay. I like this. Okay, so I'm going to pause the camera for just a minute here while I get the rest of my trims prepared and ironed on, and I will be back. Okay, I have finished 3 sides, and I left one side so we could do that together, so you know what I did. So, I love this. I absolutely love this. Oh my goodness. Turned out better than I anticipated. Okay. Back in the day when I used to quilt a lot, I had not discovered the benefit of a glue stick until I started doing some applique work and found that could be kind of nice. So I just glued the inside of my fabric strip, and I put it on a junk piece of paper. So now what I'm going to do, and you can see that I had ironed this, so I have a crease in here, okay? That will help me get it straight. So I'm going to go over the line here. I'm going to pull this down where I think it might be, and then I'm going to flip it over, and let's get that in a bit closer so you can see a little better. Now, let's even closer. I want you to see this. I don't know if you can see this very well, but I'm looking for that fold line, okay? Ugh. Okay, it got a little sticky. So I am lining this up with my fold line. Okay, that's pretty good. Unfortunately, this is going to cover up my words, which were super cute, but that's okay. That's okay. This is still going to be adorable, and it's going to be fun to use. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. I may put it in my Etsy shop. I don't know if anybody would be interested in purchasing just the cover, but okay. So you can see I've got it down quite nicely. So now let's put this out a bit so we can rearrange. Now, I don't want to cause anybody stress here, but I've got to move my camera. Okay, and I've got to change that position a bit, or you can't really see what I'm doing. All right, so now what I have done is I am doing a zigzag stitch, and you just adjust it however you want. You do whatever. This would be fun to do another, like a decorative stitch. I'm going back and forth just a little bit just to make sure it's secure. And I'm using my foot as a guide, and then I'm getting my stylus, and I am kind of pulling from the back, and I'm guiding from the front, and I'm not going fast. I'm just kind of playing with it here. So this it's really quite easy. Now, if you've never sewn before, this isn't a project I would recommend you start with. There are other projects that are a little bit easier, but this still, if you sew, then this is really, and if you quilt, this is a no-brainer. It's just kind of fun to do something different. And I really haven't done a whole lot in the quilting arena for a long time. Okay. So we will trim the threads off. Let me just move that back just a tad bit. Careful, I'm going to change. Gonna change that again. Let's look at both sides. Very nice. So let's trim the excess off. Now, I'm not worried about this little open part at the end because, as I said earlier, this will not be washed. And if it frays, that's okay. That's absolutely okay. So let's go out just a little bit more. Oh, you guys, I really am loving this. Oh my gosh. So much fun. So much fun. All right. Yeah, I'm good with that. Yay! All right, we're going to call that good. This was a Number 4 was sewing, and number 4A was, the prompt was trees. So we are good with that one for now. So I'm going to call this done for this video. I hope that you found some inspiration here. Thank you so much for joining me. I just really appreciate you so very much. So I think now what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut the video off and I'm going to go have some dinner and hang out with my hubby. So until next video, guys, please have a fabulous day. Bye-bye now.